Hello, my name is Yonga, founder of the Young Patriots of Africa. The Young Patriots of Africa was founded in response to U.S. President Obama's speech in Ghana on July 11, 2009. Obama cited the youth as a necessary ingredient for a brighter future in Africa. He stated in that speech, "This is a new movement of promise. Only this time, we have learned that it will not be giants like Nkrumah and Kenyatta who will determine Africa's future. Instead, it will be you, the young people, brimming with talent and energy and hope, who can claim the future that so many in past generations never found." For a long time, we have hoped for political change, but after all this time, it seems the politicians are often set in their ways. The youth might as well follow suit, because the young will do best at what our elders show us. A hope in the youth to bring about constructive change for Africa's future is revolutionary in that if we can renew our mentalities, if we can learn new models of leadership, then the future many before our time had hoped for can be realized. On July 12th of 2009, we answered a calling from President Obama to young Africans, challenging us to rise and play a constructive role in the future of Africa. A group of young African scholars met to discuss the implications of the speech, and in response to the president, an organizational draft was presented to network with young scholars who will share our vision. That draft gave birth to the Young Patriots of Africa. YPA is an international, non-profit, non-governmental organization that inspires and networks with young scholars to serve their immediate communities and sponsor service learning in Africa. Our vision is to link young scholars in Africa with young scholars in the diaspora. Together, we can create a culture of service that will produce servant leaders who will place the community above individuality. Across the world, leadership is not always understood as serving others. For Africa, that is partly due to how the colonizers led us by serving themselves instead of the African citizens. It is also due to how several African leaders have followed this model of leadership since independence. As a result, leadership in Africa is often shown as, "I am the leader, how can the people serve me?" We must change that notion, one mind at a time. As former US President JFK challenged a nation to ask not what your country can do for you, but ask what you can do for your country. The African youth are being challenged to rekindle a spirit of service, the kind of spirit that fosters a great democracy, one that is peaceful, prosperous, and enduring. According to Kent Keith, author of The Case for Servant leadership starts with a desire to serve. Of course, people will desire to do what they know how to do best. When we engage in service learning, we are trained to serve our communities, villages, towns, and cities. We can fulfill our desire to serve when we learn to serve. I come from Sierra Leone, where during a 10-year civil war, the youth were often trained to kill and demolish the existing infrastructures. According to a report by Partnership Africa-Canada, upwards of 50,000 were killed, half the population displaced, and more than 2/3 of its already severely limited infrastructure destroyed. The youth were trained well for destruction and proved successful, as evidenced by the many refugees, including myself, who fled Sierra Leone to seek refuge anywhere else but home, and the many amputees who could not find a place to hide. In other parts of the world today, civil war may not be a threat, but terrorists are trained for the same purpose of self-destruction, with radical ideas by which many have committed suicidal missions for the honor defined by extremists. If the training for rebellion and terrorism has been successful at destruction, we believe the same can be done in the opposite direction. We believe the youth can be trained to serve their communities, villages, towns, and cities, and do it successfully. If we can train them not to kill, but to heal. If we can train them not to destroy, but to build. If we can train them not for destruction of society, but for the construction of their communities, then the reconstructive hope for Africa can be fulfilled. This is what we have set out to do. It is about setting a new legacy for which we aim to honor academic excellence and community service in African countries. This will take some foundational steps we have considered. First, we must start by serving our immediate communities in order to develop our minds as servant leaders who will sponsor the same in Africa. Second, we must raise the funds necessary to create scholarships for the youth in Africa who are willing to serve their communities. Third, young scholars in the diaspora must engage and foster a relationship with young scholars in Africa. Fourth, even though we are not a political organization, we must work with the governments of countries where we exist and collaborate with other civic organizations who share our mission. Fifth, we need to learn from existing models of servant leadership and community development. One of the greatest advantages of undeveloped countries is that developed countries exist. This means we do not have to invent the wheel twice. We should reinvent the wheel to appropriately fit the African terrain. The African continent has continued to suffer great tribulations, but our time has come to rebuild a nation. Half of the human capital needed to accomplish this great task lies in Africa. The other half lies in the diaspora. YPA provides a framework for young scholars in Africa and the diaspora to engage each other in a symbiotic relationship that fosters a means for us to learn from both sides of the story. YPA has also formed a service learning rainbow that categorizes each field of academia into one of 7 colors in a rainbow. For example, nursing, public health, and medicine fall within the blue category, whereas environmental studies, botany, and agriculture fall within the green category. All 7 colors of the rainbow exist as 7 categories of academia we call tribes, for which young scholars can choose the appropriate tribe that corresponds with their field of study. Thus, a medical student will join the blue tribe and be invited to create or participate in a community service project that relates to health or medicine. By matching a community service project with students from the appropriate field of study, we cultivate service learning. Furthermore, young scholars in Africa and the diaspora can engage each other on the basis of their field of study. Our first pilot projects are set for Freetown, Sierra Leone and Port-au-Prince, Haiti as a relief effort from YPA. Currently, we have a chapter in America and more chapters may be opened in Africa or the diaspora based on the contacts and funds we have available by January of 2011. As we embark on this mission to develop communities through young scholars, we need all the help we can get. We need your support, suggestion, and participation. You can start a YPA village today, anywhere in America, to serve your community and raise funds to sponsor young scholars to do the same in Africa. It takes 3 motivated young scholars to form a YPA village in your community. And if you're interested, please contact us by email at info@ypavillage.org. You can also engage us on our social network by joining us on Facebook, Young Patriots of Africa. More importantly, we need your donations to create scholarships. Scholarships that will sponsor young scholars in Africa who desire to serve their communities. The scholarships are named after great examples of servant leadership in each country. So please, make a donation payable to the Young Patriots of Africa and address it to our post office box. We thank you for your devotion to the welfare of our origin and look forward to hear from you. Thank you and God bless.